welcome to the School of Brujas, a podcast for learning, self development, self care, spirituality, and wellness. I'm Maria.
And I'm Danny, and today we're going to record a short introduction of who we are and what brought us into this podcast.
Wonderful. Well, speaking about myself always bring me down to the rabbit hole. Who am I? That is a question I'll seek to answer for the rest of my life. For the purposes of this podcast, I could say some of the things I've done throughout my life that made me use some labels. I am Peruvian, born and raised in a beautiful town called Huánuco. Went to Catholic school most of my life and I earned a degree in economics. Got married, got divorced, and embarked in a journey of self healing and discovery. Yoga, transcendental meditation, and Reiki allow me to heal some deep wounds and brought to surface my sole purpose of teaching these tools to people that were lost like I was for a long time. Eventually, I transitioned from my toxic corporate job to the magical world of massage therapy and energy healing. Today, my heart desires nothing more than to share tools with people to stay balanced, healthy, and at peace. That's my intention for this podcast. So, mote it be.
So, mote it be. That was beautiful. And I'm Danny. A little bit about myself. I just turned 30 years old and I have a 12-year-old son. I'm really proud of the work I'm currently doing, which is becoming a housing provider for people in recovery. I would describe myself as a bubbly ray of light with a dark sense of humor. But seriously, I love people. Good people are my favorite, especially ones that inspire me in my journey. And I have much respect for all the teachers and mentors that have come into my life. I love to learn about anything when it comes to healing the body of disease, healing the mind from past trauma. My goal is to support my family, help others, and create a sustainable community, hopefully off grid one day. Those are my thoughts. We're here today. The sun is shining, and I'm grateful for another day to try and make the world a better place. So let's see where this podcast takes us.
Yes, definitely a journey. And I would like to share how this podcast came about. And it started when we got separated. We went to massage school
Mm-hmm.
together and we became friends. Eventually, you were living with me for a couple of weeks and you transitioned and moved out, went to North Carolina, then California, and it was very difficult to stay in touch. Our phone calls became less and less frequent. And one day, since I was telling you what happened in my life and all the things I was doing for myself to remain sane and take care of my pit bull, Shiva, and everything else going on in my life, I said to you, why don't we record our conversations? I'm sure that a lot of people will benefit from the things we are both telling each other because I'm learning from you and you're learning from me. And really, this will be good for people to save them time and give them the resources that they may be looking for. You know, there is a lot of synchronicity. So things that are happening to me and you may be happening to other people out there. Don't you think?
Yes, definitely. And with everything that's going on with the coronavirus and the quarantine, there's really no excuse to kind of not talk about things because there's a lot more time to be having conversations. And a lot of the things we've pushed aside that we probably haven't dealt with are, at least for me, coming up to the surface, but in a really beautiful way because I have reconnected with my family and it's actually been more easy than I thought. So I know maybe that's not the same for everybody, but this whole situation has definitely brought me closer with the people in my life that I didn't even think I would be finding connections with. And now that we have this podcast, I think this is a great opportunity to kind of connect on a deeper level and just share what lessons we've learned and what we've learned from each other and just kind of talk and chit chat and have fun. What do you, I don't know. But hopefully people will tune in. I hope.
Oh, yes. We are definitely doing this as an effort to put resources, information, and really our experiences out there. You know, when we talk about this virus, definitely there is a lot of lessons that came from it. For me, it really was about reaching out to the people that are not with me right now. and that will be my parents who are in Peru. They live in Peru. I have my brother in Florida, my younger brother in Lima by himself, also in quarantine. I
Mm-hmm.
have family in Spain. I have family in Greece. I have friends in Ireland, the UK, and Australia. So my heart really is spread out all over the world. And I feel like somewhat I belong to this tribe of gypsies. We're all migrating and we're all out there. And before, I didn't have the time to like sit down and make phone calls and check on everybody, but now I do. And that is such a blessing because it's just so wonderful to uh, reach out, be in touch with the people you love, and just really share your love. All they need to hear sometimes is people, your voice, and a warm feeling,
Mm-hmm.
a space for them to like share their worries, their fears. And that is the intention that I have for this podcast. As we go along and we share our experiences, I'm sure that people are going to find it hopefully comforting, because that is the idea, that you have someone else that went through the same thing talk about it and say like, this is how I navigated those waters, and hopefully it will serve you.
Yeah, I think our attention is definitely to raise the vibration and just put some good positivity, love, and, spread that out to whoever is willing to listen. And I think maybe we should talk a little bit about what bruja means in case somebody's wondering what the heck that's about. But bruja means witch. And I think you came up with the name, the School of Brujas. So do you want to maybe talk about why we decided on that name and what, I don't know, what do you think it represents?
Well, for me, we're both bilingual. We
Mm-hmm.
both sometimes we switch off from Spanish and English. And warning, it may happen while we're recording this, because there are certain words or certain things that all of a sudden, when you go into your flight or flight response, all of a sudden you start speaking Spanish, and it happens to me.
Mm-hmm.
Often they're not, especially if I'm angry, I can start cursing at people in Spanish because that is how I express my rage. And
Yeah.
a School of Brujas, to me, it really, the name came about because it was a place for learning. We're both learning from each other's, and the expectation is that people will learn from us too. This is a learning community, a learning space. And Brujas, it's something that my mom calls me often, my mom, my family, because the things that I do, remember, I'm the Catholic girl, are a little bit under the scope of witchcraft,
Yeah.
because like, what mantra is that? And who is that elephant and the woman with the so many arms? And what the hell's going on here? And the word bruja is thrown around me often. So I said, when I was talking to Daniela, was what name are we going to put into this podcast that's going to represent what we're going to be doing? And we will be talking about spirituality and the tools that we have, like tarot cards, oracle cards, we have runes, we have crystals, we have incense, and the rituals that we do in our households. And really, for our families, that is brujeria. Yes, it's witchcraft.
Yes. And to me, I don't look at it as this negative thing that is associated with the devil or anything satanic. I look at it as a way to become empowered and learn how to use things as tools to really just come, like, bring healing and to bring peace and to bring serenity and, I don't know, calmness and into like your mind, into your body, into, how you affect everybody else around you. Because right now there's definitely a lot of fear. I can feel it every single day. Sometimes it's just not easy to deal with what's going on. So I feel like this is going to be the perfect place to kind of just talk, get grounded, and hopefully this will be good for other people as well.
Yes. What I want to add is that for me, the word bruja is empowering because it brings ancient knowledge.
Yes.
It brings a lot of folk into the mix. Things that you would do that conventional medicine will, forbid. Things that you will do to take care of yourself that is not exactly approved by society. So, really, all of the things that we're going to be talking about are going to perhaps be unconventional. And that's okay. And I'm okay with the term bruja. I heard it so many times. It's just part of me. And I said, well, what term would I use to describe what we're going to be talking about into this realm of learning? I said, well, it's kind of like brujeria for other people. So it was a fun way, a lighthearted way to explain that we were going to be talking about things that are unconventional and that also involve a lot of spirituality, ancient knowledge, and that's it. That
Yeah.
is the School of Brujas.
Yeah. That sounds like a perfect way to end the podcast. Well, at least the introduction. So
Yes.
that was great. We will see everybody in the next podcast. Tune in for our first official recording and see you on the flip side.
Yes. Take care, everybody. And may the force be with you.